Title: A millionaire laughed at his brother who inherited only an abandoned car from their father. A year later, everyone was left speechless. The story begins with the reading of Mr. Anderson's will. Mr. Anderson was a self-made businessman known for his modest beginnings, who raised his two sons, Michael and David, with contrasting values. Michael, the older brother, had followed in his father's entrepreneurial footsteps, amassing a large fortune. He had developed a taste for luxury and sophistication, believing that wealth defined one's success. David, the younger brother, took a different path. Content with a simple life, he believed in hard work, patience, and compassion for others. He was the one who had often accompanied their father in his later years, helping him with his simple passions and appreciating life's little moments. When the will was read, everyone anticipated Michael receiving the bulk of the inheritance, as he was the most financially inclined. However, the family was taken aback when Mr. Anderson left the majority of his fortune to charities. To Michael, he left a generous sum of money and assets. But to David, the only item bequeathed was an old, run-down car that their father had kept in the backyard for years. Michael found this amusing, almost laughable. He mocked David, ridiculing him for his lack of ambition, saying the old car suited him perfectly since it mirrored his stagnant life. David, hurt but determined, accepted the inheritance without a word of complaint, hoping the car would somehow hold sentimental value or hidden meaning. As David examined the car, he realized it was indeed in terrible condition. Rusted, with a cracked windshield and a busted engine, the vehicle seemed worthless. But instead of giving up, David saw an opportunity. He remembered his father's tales of the car, how it was his first significant purchase. David began to clean it up, spending hours in his garage, seeing it not as a burden but as a symbol of his father's early struggles. David's fascination grew as he found personal notes and keepsakes hidden in the glove compartment, each one shedding light on his father's life before wealth. His father had been a man of dreams and aspirations, someone who had known true hardship. As David continued restoring the car, he grew more connected to his father's legacy, learning things that Michael had never taken the time to understand. Meanwhile, Michael was busy flaunting his wealth, scoffing at David's effort on the old car. "Why waste your time on a relic?" he would say. But David paid no heed, engrossed in restoring every detail. One evening, as David was cleaning under the driver's seat, he stumbled upon a hidden compartment. Inside was a small, dust-covered notebook. Intrigued, he flipped through its pages, which seemed to contain a series of cryptic notes and sketches. As he deciphered them, he realized that they were clues, parts of a treasure map. The notes hinted at valuable assets Mr. Anderson had hidden across properties he owned but never spoke of. The old car, as it turned out, held not only sentimental value but was the key to discovering these hidden assets. David embarked on a journey to follow these clues, each one leading him deeper into his father's past and to various places with hidden valuables, safety deposit boxes, hidden bank accounts, even real estate holdings his father had discreetly bought over the years. What had initially seemed like a simple car restoration had turned into a treasure hunt of wisdom, patience, and fortune. Michael, upon learning of David's discovery, demanded to be part of the journey. David, although hurt by his brother's earlier scorn, chose to let him in, seeing it as an opportunity to mend their bond. But Michael's greed soon showed, as he attempted to take control of the findings. Arguments ensued, with Michael accusing David of deceit and David questioning Michael's character. As the brothers approached the final clue, tensions reached a peak. They stood before an old cabin in a secluded part of the countryside, a property their father had frequented in his early years. According to the notes, this was where their father's final, most significant asset lay. But when they opened the cabin's doors, they were met not with gold or jewels, but with a collection of letters and documents chronicling their father's life philosophy. In these letters, their father wrote about his desire for his sons to understand the real value of life, not in riches, but in character and resilience. He explained how he had purposefully split the inheritance, giving Michael what he wanted most and David what he needed to understand his legacy. Their father believed that wealth without wisdom would corrupt, and humility was the true strength. Michael was furious, calling the inheritance a sick joke. But David, humbled and in tears, understood the depth of his father's actions. He realized that the journey had been the true inheritance, a path of self-discovery and understanding. A year later, the transformation in both brothers was undeniable. Michael, having squandered his share in failed investments, was left with nothing but regret. He had isolated himself, refusing to acknowledge the true meaning behind their father's legacy. David, however, had used the assets he found wisely, starting a foundation in his father's name. The old car, now fully restored, sat in the foundation's lobby as a testament to his father's teachings and the journey he undertook. At a family gathering, relatives were astonished to see David thriving not because of wealth, but because of the respect and admiration he had garnered. Michael, witnessing this, finally understood the gravity of his father's intentions. Humbled and defeated, he approached David, asking for forgiveness. David, with the compassion their father had instilled in him, embraced Michael, offering him a place in the foundation, so they could work together to honor their father's legacy. The story ends with the two brothers united, having finally grasped that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in character, understanding, and the bonds we hold dear.